Well, here we go. It's winter in Nebraska, or I guess you might call it climate change if your name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or any other one of those lefty lunatics. But yeah, we had a blizzard. That fence is 5 feet tall, and yep, there's drifts right over it. The dogs walked over top of the fence yesterday, and they're beagles. And those little bends in the top rail, don't worry about those too much. That's just the weight of the snow woven into the chain link, and it's bending the top rail. We had a blizzard 3 years ago, and it did the same thing. And after the snow melted away, that bend came right out of the pipes automatically. I didn't have to do anything. But as you can see, I got me a flat tire. The wind picked up a branch. I didn't see it happen, but I found the branch. It either picked it up or busted it off of one of these dead trees to the north of me. And it hit the side of the greenhouse, and I got about a 3-foot tear in it. And all of that snow is in between the two layers. No big deal. Like I said, looks like a big hole, but it's easy to fix. It's a matter of getting clear Gorilla Tape and taping it from the inside till you get to one end, and then put the greenhouse patching tape over it. Not a big deal. But as you can see here, I'm not getting in this east door to save my butt. Not for a while at least. Last time we had the blizzard, like I said, 3 years ago. Yeah, 2019. Same thing happened. And even in this case, I shoveled it out. I don't know how many times, 5 times, and I finally gave up. But all I got to do is hook up a hose to the drain outlet on my water heater, come out here, and I can melt it off. But we still got heat. Not a problem there. That's another reason I kept the intake port on the pellet stove that close to the exhaust, so if snow did build up like that, it would prevent the intake air port from being blocked. But yeah, I got me a flat tire. It's a little bit inflated. I don't know. On this side, but for the most part, I've lost my insulation, and it'll be like that for at least a month, I know that. But yeah, as you can see again, snow completely over the top of the fence. And the top rail bent, but it'll come out. Not a big deal. It's awfully funny. I mean, we had wind blowing, I don't know, between 40 and 60 miles an hour for 3 days. Almost no snow on this side. I mean, you can see the grass, the brown grass. And it just built a big old drift around it with one big drift right up against it. But we're still good. Oh, I got some ice down here. Let me give that a kick so I can open it. There we go. And instantly my glasses fog up, but we still have plenty of stuff growing in here. My kohlrabi, yeah, getting some of them that are about ready to pick. Over there, oh, those carrots haven't come up yet. Just hasn't been enough light and enough heat. I've been harvesting red beets out of this thing on a regular basis, and it seems like every time I pull a few, the little tiny ones in between them grow a little larger. We got radishes like crazy, and then this little strawberry plant down here in the lower left corner, I didn't even plant that. Somehow a strawberry seed blew from the other end where those two beds are and landed here and started a new plant. I've never had strawberries come up from seed before. I think my husky cherry tomato is starting to hate the temperature, but it's still full of tomatoes. Here we are, a week from Christmas, exactly a week, and I still got tomatoes. Depending on how warm it gets out here during the day. Well, a couple weeks ago I was able to get a handful of ripe ones off of there every 3 days, something like that. Pretty good. Still got plenty of Swiss chard, and then one fennel plant coming up again. I got more of them there. It seeded out. Plenty of sage in here, and then one Swiss chard, two of them actually, that kind of went crazy. Gotta harvest those. My raft bed, as you can see, I damaged one of those beds trying to pull the plants out because the roots were just too big. Ruined it, but I've got bok choy and red Chinese cabbage, and as a test, I planted some of those romaine lettuce heads that are called freckles. They're green with little red speckles all over the place. My onions have realized it's winter. My spinach, still getting some every now and then, kind of like that tomato plant. I'm still getting flowers on it periodically. Still getting some new shoots off of here, so I'm still harvesting spinach. This tomato plant is about history, and this demonstrates the difference between in soil and aquaponics. The reason that other tomatoes growing so well is because it's in aquaponics, so its water is always 64 degrees. There's always a 64-degree heat source under the plant coming up. And got chilies. I've bagged and frozen so many of those. I use them in cooking, mainly Asian dishes. And the same way over here with those chives, just like the green onions, they realize it's winter. Cleaned out a bunch of my mint as much as I could. And then in here I have 6 normal red cabbage heads. They're small. And then those plants that are up and green, those are dwarf eggplants that I chopped off, and they came back. Oddly enough, they came back. Got my lettuce, my green ones. They're probably about 2 weeks away from being full grown. The red ones will be about the size of the green ones. 3 more weeks, something like that. So I got to start 2 more, or at least 1 more tower of the green ones, then the red ones again. Strawberries have done realize that it's winter, so they've changed color on me. Same way with the lemongrass. I think these strawberries over here, they're a little slower to realize that it's winter. What else we got? Been getting plenty of arugula. That left stuff is the wasabi stuff that I talked about, and it really does taste like wasabi. It is hot. But the other ones are regular arugula. And I got new ones planted on the second row. There you can see where that drift is up against the greenhouse itself. You know what's funny is when I built this, or started building it, planning it, I was on Facebook at the time in a few of those greenhouse and aquaponics groups. And, oh gosh, you know, people were saying, Larry, you're an idiot. That PVC will never stand up. That stuff will break. I'm going, well, if you use PVC like you use for plumbing in your house, yeah, that won't last, but this is PVC conduit. It's UV stable. You know, here we are 5 years later, no signs of the thing giving. I'm in a greenhouse growing group on MeWe.com, and the owner of that group, she lives in Mexico, and she was watching the cameras out here, last April. Yeah, I think it was April or May, and we got bombarded by a windstorm that resulted in a tornado and all kinds of other damage. And this place was getting hit with 80-mile sustained winds, and she was watching the cameras. She seemed rather surprised. If anybody ever tells you that PVC is not the way to go with the greenhouse, I have to call BS on that, because I can think of umpteen ways this one would have failed if it was made out of steel, or like people make them out of the top rails for chain link fences. But that's it for our little winter update. See, the cold temperature kind of got to my Swiss chard. Oh well, but that's just the outer ones. The inner ones are still just fine. But time to go back inside. And after the snow melts away so I can get to that hole, I'll fix that real easy. And I'll have my insulation factor back. So I'm just going to be a little inefficient on insulation factor for a month or so. But no big deal. It's not a deal breaker. That's all. Catch you around next time. Maybe I won't be so long between videos, but hey, I've been busy. Take it easy. Bye.